This is Steve Elliott with Brian Connor for Grassfire with a special VIP update. Brian, I'm very excited to bring this to our team. I think it's really going to be good to help our team members to process the news that's happening right now.
There's a lot on today's slate, Steve. Many topics making headlines, and we think that these news stories are of particular interest to our VIP members.
Mm-hmm.
And let's roll.
Let's do it. Let's drop right into it, Brian. Let's see what we can offer to our team members. First of all, I just want to mention that if you're a VIP and you haven't seen today's news brief, please take a look at it. It's certainly the most comprehensive aggregation of the news that you're going to find from the conservative, maybe from any perspective. Brian, I don't know. This is one of those ones where maybe we outdid ourselves. It just seems like the stories go on, and we're doing this so that our VIPs and our team members can quickly understand the key issues that are happening in our world right now.
Yeah, if you go down the list, I mean, they're all from major and news sources. We use the Wall Street Journal, New York Post. There's even a link in there to a New York Times article that someone else has kind of pulled up and reported on. Mm-hmm. And they all have subheadings to tell you, what do you want to learn about? What do you want to know? Everything from, we start off with Trump on trial. Bragg was blasted at a House hearing in New York City. I thought that was of particular interest because
let's get right into that, Brian. Jim Jordan took the House Judiciary Committee right to New York City with a real specific purpose in mind.
Yes, he wanted to hold Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg accountable for the fact that crime in New York has spiraled out of control over the past few years, and that he's more interested in focusing on a Trump prosecution for crime that's past the statute of limitations, that is not a felony, that he tried to turn from a misdemeanor into a felony. And so they went right to the heart of the Big Apple. Right. And they had real people who had been affected by crime speak out. A woman whose son, a veteran, was killed. A gentleman whose son was beaten because he was wearing a yarmulke. Also, the bodega owner who Bragg had originally charged with murder because he defended himself by stabbing a violent felon who attacked him. So, we actually posted the longest feed of the streamed video that we could find. It's almost 4 hours long. And some moments of it are very, very compelling. And so, you can pick and choose if you go down our list of headlines and see exactly, what happened, how it was received. Of course, the Democrats were saying it was a show. Right. Republicans were trying to make a point and, trying to give a voice to people who have kind of been left behind by these, activist district attorneys who are not really focusing as much on crime as trying to, socialize their.
There's a social agenda that's being the grand experiment is our cities. And sadly, Brian, the left has done this for decades, has used our cities as a social playground. And what's happening is it's terrible what's happened to humans who live in these cities. And it's getting worse by the day. We've got this article that you posted. The left has killed our great cities. It's happening. So, this was about Bragg, and it was to highlight his hypocrisy, but it was about a bigger issue of just the literal destruction of our cities that's taking place right now in our country. I love one of the videos that you featured today from Representative Wesley Hunt, who's, I believe, from Texas. Just if you watch anything, watch that 3 to 4 minute clip. It's right in the list of with these other videos and stories. He just expresses his heart about this issue, and it really comes through clear, Brian.
Yeah, I saved, it's one of the things you save the best for last. And I just thought that what he had to say and his perspective was one that really need to get some more airtime, because, you're not going to find this kind of perspective from the mainstream news media. Like, we have to go to, new media and conservative outlets to find out, or you post the whole, 4-hour hearing and then you see for yourself. But,
Right.
who has time for that?
Exactly.
So, we're trying to give voice to those individuals who may not be heard outside of conservative news outlets.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're doing for our VIPs. And if you're not a VIP and you're watching this invitation, become a VIP. You're going to help Grassfire. You'll be the first to get our morning briefings and a host of other benefits. Brian, you're also spent a lot of time today on one of the topics which is near and dear to Grassfire's heart, the terrible expansion of government and the incredible debt burden that we're putting on our children and grandchildren right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you and I talked about it a few minutes ago, that it's a bit of a snoozer. And I tried to kind of avoid it because there's just so much out there. But I kept seeing, story after story after story about the debt crisis and Speaker McCarthy's efforts to meet with Biden, and he's just being rebuffed, it seems, at every turn. And there's just all kinds of coverage of it. And so, again, it's one of those things that you may not see in the mainstream media, but when you have the Wall Street Journal's editorial board, that's kind of rooting for Kevin McCarthy just to, be able to negotiate something with regard to the debt ceiling. When you find out, again, the Wall Street Journal has an exclusive that says that economists turn more pessimistic on inflation. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things, just kind of blows your mind, because you're like, is this going to get worse?
Right.
And at what point do we all become canaries in the coal mine and, just become asphyxiated with this debt and to watch the country just go down the tubes because, we're imploding financially?
Well, Brian, we are the canary in the coal mine. We talk about that a lot. Our Grassfire team members, our core conservatives, we're the ones who are shouting it from the housetops when no one's listening. And that's what we want to help you do by giving this information as a VIP, as one of our key people. What we're featuring today is going to be one of the dominant news stories over the next 2 months. This is going to come to a head in Congress. And if you're reading your VIP briefings, if you're getting these video updates, you're going to be on the leading edge of this, because this key issue of the debt ceiling and the debt crisis, and Representative McCarthy is basically pledging that he's going to bring all this to a vote. He's going to force votes on the floor of the House, which is going to force the Senate to vote. And without the support of the American people, these votes will fail. So this is going to be a critical issue, Brian. We hinge everything on life, liberty, and limited government. We have to limit the scope of government. Otherwise, we're doomed. The tentacles of government will literally destroy our society.
A government, big enough to give you everything you want is big enough to take away everything you have.
Yeah, as Ronald Reagan said, he said, I come to 7 most dangerous words. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That's the 7 most dangerous words in the English language. This has been a battle that we haven't fought well. The Republican Party hasn't fought well at all. Conservatives have been fighting it. Principled grassroots conservatives have been fighting this battle. And we're going to have to yell and scream and do everything we can to make sure that these votes happen, to limit the size and scope of government. Brian, in the midst of all this, Joe Biden is snoozing again. I mean, it's hard to even understand. He calls a lid the first thing this morning, hasn't been seen in days since he returned from Ireland. This guy's on vacation more than any president in American history. Yeah. He doesn't seem to know what he's talking about when he is talking. It was embarrassing, his trip to Ireland. Kids are asking him questions. He doesn't even understand what they're saying. His son, who knows why he's come along for this free ride from the federal government, has to explain to him what the question is, which everyone else knows what the question is. It's terribly embarrassing. It makes us a mockery on the world stage.
Well, there's, again, one of the stories that we have that was from Fox News. Pete Hedgepeth was speaking with Stuart Varney, and they were just talking about what we have labeled the Hayden-Biden crisis.
Right.
And it's like, is Biden helped when he goes out in public, when he speaks, when he interacts, when he answers questions? No, it hurts him. So they want to, try and keep him in the basement. I mean, calling a lid. I explained that to my wife. Oh, they called a lid. She's like, what does that mean again? And I said, they just said, oh, we're just going to put on a lid on his whole day. It was Monday. It was 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you start to look at him like, this is the leader of the free world, and you know, we need to know that we're in good hands. And I think that, you know, there's a strong case to be made that we're not.
Right.
So
Well,
it's very alarming.
and you can see it that other countries are now pushing the envelope as far as they can push against America because they know that weakness. They sense the weakness. So, you know, let's go to what was one of the most fascinating things I've seen in a while, Tucker's interview with Elon Musk, which had some revelations in it, insights into where we are as a society, and even what Elon might be thinking about the future of Twitter.
Well, yeah, I could have done the almost the whole thing on that interview, and I guess they're having a part 2 tonight, or at least going to, you know, continue talking. And it was a great conversation, a great interview, and it's really what I think conservatives have come to expect from Tucker. You know, he took one of the most, you know, if you remember there was a commercial that they ran for a beer company a few years ago, the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that it's Elon Musk, and to find out what he thinks about, you know, Twitter and the goal of what I mean, it was funny to hear him say new Twitter, because that's a term that we've used here at Grassfire, to find out what the goal is, to be as fair and even-handed as possible, to find out what he had to say about the U.S. government and possibly others having access to private Twitter direct messages. And also, you know, one of the things that's really kind of, we haven't even talked about this yet, and I meant to this morning when we spoke earlier, but that a Google co-founder wants to build a digital god. I mean, some of it, again, like we said, is so alarming. But to hear him talk about things like, you know, artificial intelligence, this is a guy that, you know, started on that, was trying to create an open, what was called open AI years ago. And again, it's just, I could go on and on about it, but, you know, you have a link to see some of it yourself.
Right. Well, listen, I kind of want to wrap this up, and just, first of all, thanks to our VIPs who have been standing with us and are the backbone of everything we do. You know, we're facing about as much attack as we've ever faced in our 20-year history at Grassfire. 4 times in the past year, we've been shut down by hostile ISPs who don't want you to receive your emails from Grassfire. Now, we have a large audience of hundreds of thousands of team members who have opted in, who have chosen to get updates from Grassfire, and we can't even send them to some people. Again, it's happened again this week. So
if we send it to them, we get paused and we can't send to anybody.
Right. It ends up stopping our
so we're getting totally blacklisted, totally blocked.
Yeah.
And these are all subscriber-based emails. It's not spam. It's people have subscribed to receive these emails, and we really think it's, you know, big tech and our conservative message that is, you know, kind of put us in our current status with some of these email service providers.
And we need help. So if you're watching this, a special invitation, would you please consider becoming a VIP? All you have to do is go to grassfire.com/VIP. $15 a month. You're going to receive our morning briefings, which are 3 to 5 times a week. We're providing these briefings we've been talking about today. 80% off our fax fires, which is just doing a 1 fax fire a month will get you basically the cost of becoming a VIP and helping Grassfire on a monthly basis. You can send faxes to your members of Congress for just 99 cents. We have a new impact portal, which I think is really, really a unique way to get your messages, again, in different channels directly to members of Congress. And we've got an online library. There's just a lot there that we really need your help. Most importantly, we need your help to partner with us more than ever. This has been 4 or 5 of the most challenging months that we've faced because of these shutdowns, these blacklisting from these hostile ISPs. So we need you to help us. Grassfire is an independent organization. We represent you. We're not like any other of the organizations that have large support donor bases and major funders. We're here for you. Our goal is to report the truth so you can take action. That's what we've said for more than a decade. We've hung our hat there, Brian, and that's what we're going to continue to try to do. But we need your help. So if you go to grassfire.com/VIP, help us out, become a VIP, and stand with Grassfire as we continue to fight these battles. Anything else, Brian, before we close?
Well, I would just say, you know, if we can bring more people into the tent, you know, if you're watching this as a VIP, you you're one of our most dedicated, loyal followers. And so if you have other like-minded friends and family members, please encourage them, to sign up and receive our emails and, to be part of Grassfire Nation.
Well, thank you so much on behalf of Brian Connor. Thank you to our VIPs and all of our team members. Have a great day.